We are the Post Credit Scene podcast. We're the 14 HQ original. Myself, Gaz. I'm joined by Huss. Two of our co-hosts couldn't be here today, unfortunately. But we are the lovers of basketball here, so it's all good.
That's right.
As I said, we are lovers of film and TV, so we're glad to have you join us today. But yeah, we want to know how you're doing. How are you? How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. We're excited to start to take the film out to audiences around the world.
Amazing. Firstly, loved the documentary, so
yeah, it was great.
We were honoured to be able to get an early access watch to it. I am the only Golden State Warrior fan here, by the way. He's a Knicks fan.
I'm a Knicks fan.
And I am a big.
I respect that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they came to the O2 Arena here in London, and it was like the mellow times, and that was my only. That was the first time that I watched like real basketball. So I was like, here we go. Okay, this is my team.
Nice. Well, we snuck Spike Lee in the movie for you, so.
I saw.
I was very impressed with the opening of the documentary. You sort of used the draft report that Reggie Miller, I think, was reading out to sort of, for me, juxtaposed the actual clip that you were showing with Steph Curry, obviously breaking the 3-point record. What was the intention or the thought process behind that?
From the beginning, when the project came to us, the title was sort of already attached, and I actually had some pause on that initially, like underrated. Like I don't know if everybody's gonna like buy that necessarily. Mm-hmm. And so one of the first things that we know the narrative of him feeling underrated and being perceived by some as underrated, but we wanted to investigate that a little bit more. And the more that we sort of learned about his not just his coming of age, high school, college, the different ways that he was overlooked, and not seen in his full potential, the more we wanted to kind of gather evidence of that. And we heard about this draft report, and so when we got a hold of it and read it, we were like, oh man, like that articulates. We were actually trying to get a hold of the scout who actually wrote that.
He's probably in hiding right now, to be fair.
And interview him for the movie, but it just really kind of articulated. And there were other things that we found out that really showed to what degree that he was underrated, but that was just a really spicy one, and we thought, how fun would that be if we had Reggie Miller read it and figured out some way of working it into the we didn't know it was going to be the intro of the film that came later, but we knew we would use it somehow.
Two superb 3-point shooters, let alone just basketball players. So yeah, that was a very, very nice touch to the documentary.
Yeah. Sticking on the theme of underrated, how do you think Steph used being underrated to his benefit, and do you see any similarities between yourself and Steph in that like regard?
Well, part one, it's a huge part of what drives him, and I think a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's the majority, but it's not like every athlete is like, carved from like God's like image, like Giannis or LeBron or even people like Kobe who just have out just ridiculous sort of DNA.
Yeah. A
lot of athletes are more in the athletic world average, in terms of their size, their optics, the sort of look that they have, and they have to overcome perceptions of. You saw it last night in the draft, NBA draft, with all the narratives and hearing people talk about what got them to that point, which was two things: one, support from family, validation from friends, probably having a mentor, but carrying that chip on their shoulder, like, I'm going to prove them wrong. And I think it's a universal for all of us. And that's why we actually got more attracted to this idea of the notion of underrated, that we all at some point in our lives have felt misunderstood, not appreciated fully, or underrated. And for myself, like being a documentary filmmaker, and I have a company with Ryan Coogler who makes big blockbuster movies, although he did start making an independent film called Fruitvale Station, but in documentary, we don't get the resources, we don't get the respect, we don't get the attention, we don't get the marketing dollars. So we have to fight and claw for everything that we earn, and we believe we're just as good as storytellers as
that's right.
As, the Scorseses and the Spielbergs and all that, but we just don't get the same cred. So that's how I relate to him. And then I also happen to be the same size as him. I'm also a mixed race, black guy, black man. I was born in Akron. We were both born in Akron. So there's a lot of kind of freakish similarities to our own story.
We've got two more. We're going to try squeeze them in if we can. But I was struck by the theme of education throughout the documentary. It seemed like it's something that was underlying, sort of, but was still prevalent throughout. Steph, for example, his mother being one, I think, the first to graduate, for example. Of his children learning and obviously him in college. So why was that such an important thing for you to include in the documentary?
It was really the impetus for the project. He had tried to graduate in 2011 during the NBA lockout. If you'd asked me that question, I would have got that one correct. But he couldn't do it because, he's a working NBA superstar. It's very hard to fulfill your academic requirements and, while you're working as an NBA player. And Davidson takes that very seriously, and they had never hung his number, retired his number, because he hadn't graduated. He was the first player not to graduate under the tutelage of Coach McKillop. And this was 30 years or so of Coach being, in charge of the team. So, and his mom was the first in her family to go to college. Education was very important to her. Yeah. She was an educator. They have a family of educators. His kids were getting older, and I think that they look up to him, and I think they do see him as a celebrity on some level, but first and foremost, they see him as their dad. Yeah. And he felt it was time to show to them that this mattered to him. He had made this promise to his mom. And so that was fun to kind of watch that process, because none of us knew whether he was going to be able to pull it off. And you won't know either unless you watch the film, and we're not going to tell you what happened.
That's right, yeah.
All your audience out there.
Final question. I'm going to switch up my question completely, okay? Going off the point you made earlier about being, the underrated filmmaker and that kind of stuff, if you were to be given that big budget, that crazy, like PR run, the whole thing, who would you cast as Steph? Who would you cast as his coach? And who would you cast as his parents?
Oh man.
Ooh, it was a good one, that actually. It got me.
Who would I cast as Steph? It's funny because the pool of it's kind of mixed race actors out there is not huge.
Yeah, not massive.
It is not huge. There's this kid. He was in Jurassic World.
Oh my God! I know you're talking about the scientist kid.
Yeah, the scientist kid. His name is escaping me, but you folks at home can look that up.
Yep.
That's who I might cast as Steph. And his parents, his mom, she's kind of funny actually. So I'll cast, who's the woman on Saturday Night Live? She's like the black mixed race or black actor on Saturday Night Live.
It's not Tiffany Haddish.
Myra.
Oh my God, you're killing me. You're actually killing me.
I'm not sure myself.
She would be a hilarious Sonia Curry. It's gonna come to me, but I think people know who I'm talking about. She's she used to be on Saturday Night Live.
Is it Maya Rudolph?
Maya Rudolph.
That's the one. All right. Cool.
I would cast Maya Rudolph.
She's hilarious.
As Sonia, and then Del Curry.
This is a big one.
I need to phone a friend. I need Ryan Coogler. I need Ryan to tell me, because he knows all the actors.
I was thinking for Del Curry. I actually think Denzel would slip in there pretty well.
That wouldn't have been the first on my mind, because Del is so he's so chill.
Yeah.
He's so calm and kind of even keel, and Denzel's a little bit too big. Denzel's kind of too. So it needs to be an actor who's kind of low key.
Ooh.
And even keel.
Okay.
Should we move on?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele's not an actor. Oh, Jordan Peele's an actor. Yeah. He was in the Key and Peele.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Jordan Peele.
I'm
not mad at Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, Maya Rudolph, and the kid from Jurassic World.
Yeah, we'll get his name. And then Steph's coach, last but not least. And please don't say Tom Hanks. I feel like just everyone always goes with Tom Hanks for the old wise dude in films.
He's so wise. I mean, for some reason, a younger Martin Landau sort of comes to mind, because he's kind of like grizzled a little bit, but it's the wisdom piece, which is really the driving characteristic of Coach McKillop. Everything that comes out of his mouth is just like a gem of wisdom. So I think that could fill out. Was it the coach in the Bad News Bears? Was he the coach in the Bad News Bears? Bad News Bears. It was I believe it was that was Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau would also work.
Okay.
Nice.
Interesting, very interesting, diverse, quite a diverse pick.
Yeah.
We don't want to go for the obvious names though. I think that was one of the key things for you as well, not to go for the.
I mean, I grew up in the '80s, so I'm kind of like reaching a little bit back in time. But there are probably casting directors across the world who are like yelling at me right now.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, can do the outro.
We obviously want to thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to speak to you, to find out more about yourself and to find out about the film, about the documentary, shall I say. As I said, I am a Warriors fan, so watching this was a pleasure in itself. It's not been a great year for us as a Warriors fan. Quick question, thoughts on the CP3 trade, if you've got any?
It's tough, man. It's a head scratcher. I mean, I think it was a salary dump. They had to free salary. Something about his contract that's going to convert next year.
Yeah.
People are upset, man, on the talk radio because CP3, he's kind of like an enemy. He's kind of like like what? Like does that make sense? It's all kinds of speculation. Does this mean Draymond staying? Could Draymond go? Like, couldn't they have gotten somebody else for him? And then they also got rid of PBJ, Patrick Baldwin Jr., who I love that kid.
I would love to have seen more of him. I would have loved to have seen more of him.
I think he's got a lot of upside. I think Jordan Peele's very, very good.
Yeah.
It's just, the dynamics of what happened with Draymond and Peele.
Circumstances.
Cool. I mean, probably are what's behind it.
Yeah, most likely to be fair.
And it's just unfortunate. But I'm really hoping, Kuminga comes into his own. I think he's a tremendous talent.
Moses Moody.
Great player.
And let's see which veterans we can add as well. Let's see which veterans that can be
Chris
up.
Paul.
I mean, he's 38. He's 38. He played 7 games last season, something like that.
Him and Steph on the same team is.
It's almost like he's like Iguodala.
Yeah.
Iggy replacement, like literally. Yeah.
Just sitting on the bench like a coach.
He's the 8th man. Oh lord.
Off my pay grade, fellas. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
You've done your job in the documentary, and you've done a great job. So again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We are the Post Credit Scene podcast.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to the
guys.
world seeing this documentary.
Yes, absolutely.
Have a great day, and again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.